What's up, Dolphins? Wait a minute. This isn't the right jersey. When did I get a Giants jersey?
Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
That's better. The Dolphins win 20-17 over the Jacksonville Jaguars in the season opener. And unfortunately, before we talk about the game, we gotta talk about what happened before the game. Now, we do not know all the details as to what fully happened, so I'm just going to give what we know. Tyreek Hill was detained after a moving violation right outside the stadium. One of the officers involved is placed on administrative leave, and also Calais Campbell was also detained. So, all this information together. Calais Campbell is the last person you'd ever expect to see in handcuffs. Tyreek Hill, yes, he's caused a lot of trouble before, but I don't understand how a moving violation gets you detained, but then he's let go and allowed to play. He wasn't actually arrested. So, at this point, I don't really know what happened. I'm glad he was able to play. I hope this all gets sorted out and everyone can just put it aside. Don't harbor any hate towards anyone involved, please. Tyreek sounds like he's trying to put it behind him and just, be the bigger man here. So let's all do that ourselves. Now, let's get into the game itself. Finally. The first few drives for the Dolphins really didn't go too well. They kind of ended in what I kind of call no man's land, basically between the 50 and the 40. You can't really kick a field goal from there, but it's kind of too close to punt. So they attempted fourth downs. It didn't work. And then later on in the first, very blatant pass interference by Jalen Ramsey on Thomas led to the Jacksonville Jaguars going to the 1 yard line, getting an easy touchdown, making it 7-0 for Jacksonville. That was so blatant by Ramsey. I'm not going to try and defend that whatsoever. And then in the second quarter, Lawrence has a 14-yard touchdown to Thomas, making it 14-0. But then Achane runs in for a 1-yard touchdown for the Dolphins. It's 14-17. And then Jacksonville gets a 53-yard field goal to end the first half. You're down 17-7 in the first half. It is not looking good. But they do turn it around. In the third, Tua has an amazing deep pass to Waddle. Unfortunately, that is undone by a sack. That drive goes nowhere. And the Jaguars go all the way down the field. But then, this is where the momentum in the game shifts. Travis Etienne is running in for what looks like a sure touchdown, but then Holland punches it out. It's fumbled, and then it's recovered by Kohu. This is where the game shifts momentum, because the very next play, Tua has an 80-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill, and he does the celebration, pretending like he's in handcuffs. That play obviously was mostly on Hill, but absolutely amazing. The Dolphins are back in the game, and then in the fourth, Sanders misses a 42-yard field goal badly. But then later on, he hits a 37-yard field goal to tie the game, and then Jalen Phillips gets a huge sack to kill Jacksonville's drive, which could have gotten them a field goal, won them the game, but no. Sanders then hits a 52-yard field goal at the end of the game for the game winner. Now, this was a very ugly game, but it's still a win, and that's what matters. Especially since the Bills and the Patriots are both 1-0 on the season. I don't know how the Patriots beat the Bengals. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But they're 1-0. The Bills managed to have a comeback against the Cardinals. They're 1-0. And the Jets play tonight, so we don't know what's going to happen there. But I do have to say, 49ers, you have the power to do the funniest thing. Make them the only team to not have a win in the division to start off the season. It would be hilarious. We'd all love it. Anyway, some other things from this game. You know how snaps, specifically fumbled snaps, were an issue at the beginning or at the end of last season? They really weren't too much of an issue in this game. I know it's only one game, but that is very nice to see. Another thing, Tua, statistically, amazing game. Eye test, he was okay. But the most important thing, he limited mistakes. He had no turnovers. He had a very close to an interception, but no turnovers. That is what you need. Penalties were a big problem, though. 9 for 103 yards. I know it's the first game of the season. They'll probably clean that up a bit. And also, Tua was reading the field a bit more than I saw last season. Again, it's only one game. But he was holding on to the ball a bit more. He was reading the field. He was actually running for a couple plays, which we barely ever saw. So I'm kind of excited for what we're seeing from Tua. A lot of improvements for his mistakes last year, at least in this game. Now, Thursday is going to be the true test for the Dolphins. They have to take on Buffalo. Very early in the season. It is at home, luckily, so Buffalo does have the Florida Heat to compete with. But Buffalo is obviously a very hard opponent for Miami. We've only beaten them once in the last 5 years or something like that. Not great. But Buffalo did also not look great themselves. They had to come back against the Cardinals. 34-28, they ended up winning, so they ended up winning by a considerable amount. But it's going to be a very tough task if they can beat the Bills and get to 2-0 on the season with a divisional win. It's going to be good. Yes, I know they had such a lead in the division last year, and they choked it away. But your strongest competition, in my opinion, is not going to be the Jets. It's going to be the Bills for the division. If you can get that win against them, you have that huge step above them if it comes down to a close race at the end of the season. So, we'll have to see what happens there. Blessed be, fins up.